Machine Gun Kelly is singing at this year's Clash at the Coliseum, but that's not all that's different about this year. Let me know your thoughts about that. But we do have the format now for the 2024 Clash at the Coliseum. Let's go through it together and talk about the differences between this year and years prior. For starters, your heat race qualifying position is equal to your fastest practice time in the final session. So the difference here is that there is no longer single car qualifying. So essentially with this, you're killing two birds with one stone. Instead of adding a qualifying element into there, your practice is technically your qualifying. Next up, we have 4 heat races with 10 cars each, and these races will not include overtime finishes. Those are not in play here. In determining the lineup of those heat races, if you had the first fastest time in that final practice session, you would qualify on the pole for heat 1. If you had the second fastest time, you would qualify first in heat 2, and so on and so forth in a rotation of 4. Those heat races are 25 laps each, and the top 5 from each of those 4 heat races will move on to the main event. Those that do not advance to the main event following those heat races will be placed into a last chance qualifier race that is 75 laps. Just like the heat races, overtime will not be in play, and for both the heat races and the last chance qualifier, only green flag laps will count. This race is different than last year because we had 2 separate last chance qualifying races. This year, we're just combining that field into one big last chance race. And I think this is a really good idea. Again, it's probably going to cause more carnage, but you're also going to shorten the time that we're spending on this last chance qualifier before we go to the main event because, again, only green flag laps count, so it can get pretty long in terms of time pretty fast. With that said, only 2 drivers from that last chance qualifier race will make their way into the main event. Those are the drivers that finish in the top 2 positions. And that leads me to talking about the size of the field for the actual clash itself. Last year we had 27 drivers, which personally I felt was way too many for that small track in one event. This year we're going back to 23 drivers, just like we did the first time we went to the Clash at the Coliseum. But Taylor, if you add up the heat winners with the 2 winners in the last chance qualifier, you only get 22 drivers. Well, here's where you get the 23rd. That 23rd entry goes to the driver that had the highest point standings in 2023 that did not transfer to the main event on finishing position alone during the last chance qualifiers or the heats. So for the actual clash, they will line up as follows. The winner of Heat 1 will line up first. The winner of Heat 2 will line up second, so on and so forth. Your last chance qualifier will line up in 21st. Your second place in the last chance qualifier will line up 22nd. And 23rd will be your driver that got in based off of their 2023 point standings. The clash itself is 150 laps, and of course at that halfway point around lap 75, we're going to have an intermission where we will hear Machine Gun Kelly rap, sing, do whatever he does in the middle of the race. Overall, I think this format is much better than what we had last year. Last year, I felt we made things a little bit too complicated, and we really sectioned out certain events where we could have really just combined them, like we're doing this year, like combining qualifying with just practice alone. It's just more streamlined for 2024, which I appreciate and I think will make a better racing weekend. Now, I'm sure you're all wondering, what are my predictions for who is going to win this race? Well, my eye goes straight to the Toyotas. They are very good at the short tracks, and Martin Truex Jr., of course, won this event last year. I also look at a driver like Kyle Busch, who has some of the best stats at this event, who is now in Chevy equipment. However, I look back at the Toyotas and I'm a little nervous. Again, like I said, their short track package is fantastic, but they have a new body style for 2024. It is a body style that seems like it's going to impact them a lot more positively at super speedways. What that's going to do to their performance at intermediates, short tracks, road courses, I'm not really sure just yet. So again, holding off reservations as to who I think will win the clash until we really do see them in these heat positions and where they qualify, etc. So I'm going to hold off until I have more information, but I am still thinking a Toyota probably is going to take the cake. Guess we'll find out when the day comes, and that's coming up very soon. So what do you think of this new clash format, the performer for the halfway point of this event? Let me know in the comments below. Final reminder that the NASCAR Mexico Series will be racing at the Coliseum on February 4th, starting at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Daniel Suarez just announced he will be in that event with Quaker State on the car. Quaker State also announces an extension of their contract with Daniel Suarez. I think it is so smart to place the NASCAR Mexico Series race before the clash that starts at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the main event, I should say. Because if you're anything like me, I've never watched any races from the NASCAR Mexico Series, so this gives me a good opportunity to be able to watch that series and learn more about it. So I'm really excited to see the NASCAR Mexico Series take that track by storm, and I'm excited for the whole event overall. I'm ready for NASCAR to be back. But that is it, your last reminder there. Let me know what you think all about this in the comments below.